Kampala, but we're coming to NYS in just a bit. Mercy in Kampala, good morning. Please keep your comments or your question very brief because we'd like to keep this as fast-paced as possible. Mercy.
Yeah, morning to you, morning. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, Mercy.
Okay, morning. I'm just watching you from Kampala.
Okay, thank you.
And all along when this NYS has been going on, I've been following it, and honestly, I really see that this guy, Murkomen, is not clean on it.
He's not being honest?
I'm not.
Okay, why do you say that?
Because everything now, you know, as a public, we are following this. The courts have not released the verdict, but he can't run away from this. I just think he has some.
All right.
Somehow he can't run away from it. But I'm thinking because why can't he face the fact and sit there and be probed in public, and that's when we can get really convinced that he's not involved in this thing. To clear his name, let him go, make a debt to the fact, sit there,
very good.
Be probed, and then we can really be sure that he's clean on it. But for now, honestly, I don't think he's clean, as per my view.
Okay, from your view. All right, that's Mercy in Kampala. Thank you for calling. But maybe just to get this conversation going, let's listen to what you had to say regarding NYS so far, and then we can take it from there. And these are some of the comments that you've made previously.
Yeah. We cannot again argue kwamba Waiguru must go. We should be saying Waiguru be protected, na Koskei, na Chirchir, na Kazungu Kambi warudi kazi kwa sababu the accusations were flimsy. We do not want to continue in a country ati sasa kwa sababu hao wengine walitolewa kwa flimsy grounds ati tutoe Waiguru. We don't want that. We want a nation that has consistency in the message they are giving to the public. If it is wrong for any public officer to be falsely accused, if it was wrong for Kazungu, it is wrong for Waiguru. I do not know whether one Waiguru is guilty, but the facts that have been presented on the table is enough for Anne Waiguru to stand trial and be charged in a court of law. If she is not going to be charged for the corruption of NYS, we could as well legalize corruption in this country. Kama Anne Waiguru atapelekwa kotini kwa maswali ya NYS, afadhali jameni tubadilishe sheria ikuwe wizi ni legal. So that kila mtu aibe yake kidogo kidogo.
Same person, two different things. One day you say that Anne Waiguru should not be removed.
Yes.
The next day you say if Anne Waiguru will not be removed, then we might as well legalize corruption.
Your first clip, I spoke in Apkoi, in Eldoret. And you did not start from, there is the first part of it. And in that argument, I made it very clear that we do not want to be a country of mob justice, where, you know, on a mention of a name, you say someone must step aside, must be removed. And the discussion in that function, and my colleagues, different politicians were saying, because Anne Waiguru must go, because Chirchir went, because who left. And my argument there was that to be sure that we are living in a country that is where there is rule of law, we must stop this mantra that when person is mentioned, you say must step aside. I made it very clear that there was no evidence at that point in time to link Waiguru to the question of stealing money from NYS. Now, over time, when investigation has taken place, we are now in a position to say that based on the information that is in public glare, it is imperative that it is impossible. And I want to emphasize here. And by the way, there is no contradiction between my first statement and the second. And I still believe even today, even if tomorrow another person, they say, so-and-so is a thief, I will not accept until that person goes through investigation procedures.
So your second statement is based on the evidence
that has presented
so far?
Because let me ask you, Michael, how is it possible that a minister who has executive responsibility to run a ministry which was getting the highest allocation of resources, amalgamation of the ministries that have even now been split, how was it possible that she did not know by all means? She picks a guy called Harake, who was already accused elsewhere of misusing public resources when he was a DC, who was accused of misusing money that's related to IDPs, picks him, takes him directly
to have executive responsibility. He's a deputy, but he's the one who's running the money. She was the one who was making phone calls and directives. Do you want to tell me that, you know, Anne Waiguru living in a 5-story building, thieves were entering, people were cooking chapati down there, cooking mandazi, cooking meat, and you want to tell me that when she was sitting on 5th-story building, the smell was not reaching her?
So
it is a lie to be able to cheat the nation, and we have seen this mantra of whistleblowing, you know, that, oh, I am a whistleblower. Even Jefferson King said he was a whistleblower. Harake, do you remember that Anne Waiguru swore an affidavit on behalf of Harake? It has never happened in this world that the person who should be swearing affidavit to say, I spoke to Duale, I met Murkomen and so forth, Anne Waiguru came and swore an affidavit. It's even now coming back that most of the letters that are supposedly written between her and Harake, it's coming to public that they were backdated. We were lied. The nation was, there was lies to the nation that IFMIS was hacked. You know, and when they knew very well that transaction A, B, C, D, approved by the same Harake, they said it's correct. When it reached GH, they say it was hacked. And then EFG, they say, I mean, EF and, you know, all that.
So in your opinion...
So the point is that I do not know, and I want to emphasize here, whether Anne Waiguru is guilty or not. But as a lawyer, I am not DPP. DPP is acting independently. It does not have to take my opinion. It doesn't need to take opinion of any Kenyan. But from where I stand, from the little law I know, and it's not too little, I used to teach law, there is enough evidence in public domain for Anne Waiguru to stand trial in a court of law so that the facts can come out clearly and so that she can be able to exonerate herself.
And as a member of